We're the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. Stonewall Museum appoints Molly Lenore to lead the Capitol campaign, strengthening South Florida presence and preserving LGBTQ plus history amid ongoing challenges.
Florida ADAP policy changes slash eligibility, remove premium support, limit medications, and jeopardize continuous HIV care for 16,000 residents statewide.
Craig Jungwirth pleads no contest to aggravated stalking, receives supervised mental health probation, avoids electronic monitoring, but remains jailed in a separate civil case.
6 federal prosecutors resign after DOJ targets shooting victim's widow, declines civil rights probe, and centralizes ICE killing investigation under FBI.
MacKenzie Scott gives record $45 million to the Trevor project, boosting LGBTQ plus youth suicide prevention amid lifetime shutdown crisis nationwide.
All this important LGBTQ plus news and more this evening on Queer News Tonight. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily news television show broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
Analytics company VidIQ has certified the Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 11 million views.
We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in our rainbow family.
There are no other news programs in the LGBTQ plus world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Wednesday, January 14th, 2026. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we'll tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ plus evening news show.
Hotspots Magazine Happening Now Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model as PBS and NPR, but created for the LGBTQ community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbians, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. Hotspots Happening Out is a proud beneficiary of the 2026 Florida AIDS Walk, standing strong by our healthcare pillar. Funds raised are matched dollar for dollar in support of our HIV policy reform and educational programs, including our MSM conference. We invite you to donate and join us on March 21st to walk in support of the Hotspots Happening Out teams.
In 2026, our magazine is celebrating 41 years of the LGBTQ plus experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 11,000 LGBTQ plus television stories presenting South Florida major LGBTQ plus events, including Pride for Lauderdale, Stonewall Pride, and Pride Fest. Our magazine, events, television, news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ plus and broader community.
In 2026, more than 100 community leaders will sit at this very table and share their voice as our anchors. Together, we host this show to support the LGBTQ plus community. Let's meet this evening's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Vaughn is back at the table, and I couldn't be happier. Let's welcome back to the table anchor Vaughn Biggs. I love his name, Vaughn Biggs. It's like porn star advocate. You know what I mean? So, right? That's you. He's a community engagement and outreach coordinator at Holy Cross Health, a vice chair of the Ryan White Part A Planning Council, and a board member of Trans Ed and Harmony Waves. Vaughn, Love No Limit, a raw Choreopoem, runs February 5th to 15th. I am intrigued. And it's happening at Pompano Beach. Tell me what's happening out.
That's right, Faye. As part of the Freshly Rooted series, Love No Limit is the second installment of the award-winning For Colored Boys Choreopoem series, written by Brian Keith Wilson, directed by Maya McCain, and choreographed by Gentry George. The work runs February 5th through the 15th at the Hive Black Box Theater in Pompano Beach. Set in Houston, Texas, the piece follows Antoine, a grieving black artist, and Ramon, a conflicted police detective, as love and truth collide. Through dance, poetry, and music, the choreopoem explores racial trauma, black queer intimacy, and emotional survival. More details are at pompanobeacharts.org. You know, it's very interesting. I've recently met the executive director of Bravo Theater, who is a 501c3, very young, talented black individual, and he's worked with a lot of our nonprofits. So I've gotten to know him at some of the events we usually go to, and he's received things from like Our Fund and things like that to do this. So he's bringing like talent that hasn't been seen, but it's about the black community. So he's bringing black musical theater to the community, and he's done this. He did Black Nativity. I don't know if you guys saw that recently.
Yeah, I heard
very involved in that.
Yeah.
So this is something that's happening, and it just seems great. He had asked me. He's actually going to be performing in it as well. His name is Zaylen Yates. I don't know if you know him or not, but you've probably seen him in the community. So I'm really excited for this because I was like, we need more of this in our areas too. So let's bring it down to Wilton Manors.
Listen, we shouldn't just be talking about like Black History on Black History Month, right? You know what I mean? We should be going to events all year round. And something like this, a choreopoem, like you had me at choreopoem. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it just looks so interesting and so good. I love that.
Yes.
Like, I mean, this is what we need to do more of. I want to know more about Antoine and Ramon. You know, they could be the new, what's that hockey thing that everybody's watching?
Heated rival.
They could be the new heated rivalry. I mean, why not? It could be on stage. You won't even have to see it through your TV. This is on stage, baby. Forget that heated rivalry. We got something better for you.
I never heard the term choreopoem before. Have you all?
No.
I think that's really interesting. Even if it's
you're
just
in
great
the
marketing.
arts.
Yeah, I never heard that. And I'm like, that definitely sounds something interesting, you know, like something that I'd want to check out.
Right.
So there's dance in it, there's music, and it's a story. So it's kind of like musical theater, but it might have like a more streamlined element to it, like maybe not the full set or something, but maybe it is something that's like a little bit of all of those pieces. So I'm definitely interested to go check it out.
I understand it's very intimate, so it's not a large theater.
Yeah. Black Box isn't.
No, so they want that intimacy with, you know, the people that are there. So the seating, it's all open seating type of thing. So don't think you're going to get.
There's a market for this here, because I tell you, with the film festival, we opened with a film a few years ago at the Lyric Theater in Overtown.
Yes, I love the Lyric Theater.
Miami, and it was fantastic film, and we sold the whole theater. So there is an audience here. We just need to tap it. It's not just, you know, great theater for, you know, white folks in Wilton Manor, but we also have an African American gay community.
A big one, yes.
Craving these kind of, you know, entertainment.
Yes.
And it's a win-win situation.
And Black Box is right up the street. It's not even that far, you know. And just folks at home, just so you know, that Trinidaddy has stolen the word choreopoem. Just to let you
Coming into the Seminole Theater.
do that. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Love No Limit from February 5th through the 15th at Pompano Beach. Let's welcome my brother from another mother. He's my favorite Venezuelan brother. He's anchor Dino Mosquera. He joined the Miami Gay and Lesbian Film Festival in the late 90s when I was only like 2. And now serves on the OUTshine Film Festival's board of directors. OUTshine LGBTQ plus film festivals, cocktails, and cinema that are always bringing us incredible films and a whole lot of fun is presenting JIMPA. I love JIMPA. That's Lithgow, right? All right. January 15th. Tell me what's happening out.
Yeah, OUTshine LGBTQ plus film festivals, cocktails, and cinema presents JIMPA this Thursday, January 15th. At 7:30 p.m. at the Paradigm Cinemas in the Gateway for Lauderdale. Directed by Sophie Hyde, this moving drama stars Olivia Colman, John Lithgow, and Odd Mason Hyde. Hannah travels to Amsterdam with her non-binary teen, Frances, to visit her strange father Jim, an openly gay man embracing love and life later on. When Frances wants to stay with Jim, for a year-long, long-held beliefs are challenged. JIMPA explore reconciliation, queer identity, and family bonds with warmth and humor. For more details, visit OUTshinefilm.com. This, as you know, was our closing film for the film festival, this last spring edition. It was a fantastic audience, and everybody loved it. It's a great film with a fantastic cast. I mean, Olivia Colman and John Lithgow, just those two alone. And the young actress who plays the non-binary daughter, or non-binary.
Non-binary.
Right. So, is an Australian actress. Really good. It's a film that shows, how different generations of gay people deal with each other, and intergenerational relationship, particularly with family. And and what you think is unconditional love sometimes is challenged. So and then John Lithgow is just so phenomenal in this. So.
He's amazing. Like, he's so believable. John Lithgow can play anybody. He can play a Puerto Rican drug dealer, okay? He just can, right? In this movie, he's so believable. He's a gay man, but he's also a granddad trying to maneuver having a non-binary grandchild. And I mean, and it's just so flawless and beautiful that you believe that he's part of our community.
It is.
I mean, and what for people that weren't able to see it when you brought it to us during OUTshine Films, now the fact that people can come see it for cocktails and cinemas, what a great opportunity. And so it's at the old Gateway that now is called something else.
It's the Paradigm.
Paradigm.
Right. So we closed the film festival in Miami with that, but this is the chance for the Fort Lauderdale audiences to see it here at the old Gateway. And it's close.
The Gateway. You get it? The Gateway.
The Gateway. And it's close to Wilton Manor. I hope everybody, there'll be drinks after. So
there's always drinks. OUTshine, the wonderful thing about OUTshine, among many things, again, they bring us culture, they bring us places that we might not see in person, but they always make sure you got a drink in your hand.
That's true. That is true.
Right? Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at OUTshine LGBTQ Plus Film Festival's JIMPA on January 15th. That's tomorrow at the Old Gateway, the Paradigm Theater. Let's welcome anchor Trinidaddy back to the table. He is a violinist, a pianist with the Miami City Ballet, and is the program director for the Seminole Theater Players in Homestead. Trini, South Florida Symphony Orchestra. Tell me what's happening. They've always got incredible events coming up. Tell me.
Well, the South Florida Symphony Orchestra Masterworks 2 continues with an invitation to experience a night where rhythmic energy meets soaring melody. The evening begins with the ethereal echoes of Vaughan Williams, not to be confused with Von Biggs, Fantasia on a Theme by Thomas Tallis, set against the backdrop of 16th century tradition. The mood then shifts to the jazz-inflected brilliance of Ravel's Piano Concerto in G major, featuring the return of South Florida Symphony Orchestra favorite Svetlana Smolina, before culminating in the triumphant, heroic grandeur of Sibelius' Symphony No. 2. Tickets are available for January 21st at the Parker, Fort Lauderdale, January 22nd at New World Center, Miami, January 24th at Tennessee Williams Theater, Key West. More details and tickets are available at southfloridasymphony.org. So I am probably like most of you, where I find a lot of classical music boring, even though I am a classical musician, right? But there are gems that are worth going to see, even if you're not really into classical music. And this concert is one of them. I was practicing last night. The Vaughan Williams is one of the most ethereal, beautiful pieces I have ever heard in my life. So much so that the first time I heard it when I was a kid, all I did was take my violin and just play it over and over and over again. It's so incredibly meditative and beautiful that if you are not into classical music, you would love it. If you're into that candlelight concert kind of thing, it's just something that, I mean, I would take a tab, take a hit, something, and just listen to gummy in this beautiful, beautiful setting. And Sibelius 2, the second symphony, is like, it's like watching a film with an amazing soundtrack. You've probably heard the Harry Potter stuff when it gets into the most really triumphant or like dark elements to it. It's one of those pieces. It's a little bit long, but when you're listening to it and you're seeing all the instruments playing, like I don't know if you would even think it was classical music. It just sounds like this really intense film score music. And then the piano concerto is just kind of crazy. It's out of this world. Sit on the left side so you can see the pianist's hands when they're performing. It's a really incredible program. It's the one that I've been looking forward to most this entire season.
Wow.
So you should get a ticket. And the New World Center, amazing space. The Parker, amazing space. And if you're down in Key West, bro.
So will you be playing the violin for some of these?
I will be playing the violin in the entire program.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. Amazing.
I go to the New World. I mean, I do go often, so it's not like I'm a super fan, but I do go.
You appreciate it.
I love it.
And the setting of the New World Center, if you're down in Miami, is it's got a kind of a modern aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
And they do have a lot of white canvases around that they do tend to project colors and visuals going on while the symphony is performing.
Where is it? Off Lincoln?
Yes.
Right off Lincoln Road.
Right
yes.
off Lincoln, like
That's on
17th Street.
Yes.
Right across from the film.
Amazing.
beautiful
Amazing.
It's a great.
So now that you have explained all that, more importantly, let's talk about Svetlana Smolina.
Go with us to begin
I
with.
played with her before. I mean, a beautiful Russian girl, I believe. So if
one of us
you're not
even saw her.
into classical music, but you're into Russian women, this may be the
By all
concert for
means.
you too.
Hey.
Oh, but I love this because I mean, how you described it, you gave something a little bit for anybody. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
and
that
I
kind of
don't
music
talk about
fills you.
that. I don't say that about most performances that I'm doing around town. So this one is one that you want to go see. If you want a date night, especially a date night, there's definitely will be times where you grab your partner's hand during it, and you might even shed a tear. It's that beautiful.
I love that. I love that. What were you going
Have
to say,
you been
Dino?
there for polls?
Pulse? Yes, I have.
love when they do that. They combine classic music with DJ.
I love that, like a mashup
really
kind of
cool,
deal.
right?
Nobody does the classical music like the New World Center does. They
New World
have a
Center's
way of
beautiful.
bringing it into the 21st century, and they have a really great bar if you like a little drink.
I love that.
That's the
Libations.
centerpiece in the lobby, so it's a great time.
Where can we get tickets?
At southfloridasymphony.org.
All right, there you go. And
Next week.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at the South Florida Symphony Orchestra performances for Masterworks 2 on January 21st through 24th and the other incredible events. Let's welcome to the table for the very first time, Duni Bauta. Duni is a luxury travel curator and founder of Impact Encounters, creating immersive high-end global experiences. Having lived across Europe, the Middle East, and the Americas, he's known for culturally rich travel design and philanthropic support of LGBTQ plus arts, nonprofits, and community organization. Dude, Gamma Mu is bringing the Palm Royale to Wilton Manors. Tell us what's happening out.
All right, so let's talk about Gamma Mu. Gamma Mu Foundation invites you to join us at the Richardson Historic House on Saturday, January the 17th from 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. Our celebration is 2026 Bring Us Together for an evening of Palm Royale Glamour Give Back. Our guests will be joined by Drag Race Season 17 diva Lucky Star jazz artist Zach Azori and cabaret burlesque performer Phoenix Hertz. More information and tickets can be found at gammamufoundation.org. All right, we're talking about Palm Royale, so we're all obsessed about Palm Royale with the TV series, and I think when we found out that they picked this specific theme for the party, we were all excited because we're expecting about over 150 to 200 people to show up and bring their Palm Royale. So we're excited about the theme especially. But then let's talk about these three performers. You know, you have a jazz performer who, you know, if you haven't followed him on social media, you can follow him and you will realize that, you know, they're quoting him as the next Frank Sinatra. So this guy is amazing. And then you have Phoenix, which we all know he's part of our community. He's an amazing performer.
He's hot.
He's hot and he brings the heat.
And he literally brings the heat. Doesn't he do like
Yes.
fire juggling
He
or
does.
some kind of like
He does.
crazy stuff like that? And he has this beautiful curly hair that I'm always afraid that he's going to burn it. Right? I mean, he's good at what he does, but I'm like, right?
Totally. And then you have Lucky Star, which is, season 17, and she's very creative, a big supporter of the community down here. So I think the combination of these three performers together with, the amazing catering company that we hired. So we have Larry Mello, which is a local chef here too. So all again in support of the Gamma Mu Foundation, which for those who are not familiar with, the Gamma Mu Foundation have been an organization around for over 50 years, started as a social group of gentlemen that couldn't socialize publicly because, back in the time being gay was not, still, we're struggling with it right now. But then it became a foundation in the late 80s, beginning of the 90s, just because of the necessity of protecting people and saving life during the AIDS crisis. And then it went on to sponsoring and giving grants and scholarships to LGBTQ plus youth, mostly in rural areas. So the actual focus of the foundation right now is giving away and supporting people in need in the small rural communities, LGBTQ plus people. And so far in the last 30 years, they have given more than $5 million in grants and scholarships to support the community. So again, we're hoping that people come on Saturday, show up, have an amazing time, bring your Palm Royale on. You guys have any Palm Royale?
But what should I was watching Palm Royale, right? I loved Ricky Martin. I loved Carol Burnett in it. Those were the two reasons that I was the draw. So we could dress like some of those people on the show.
Totally.
Like resort attire, kind of.
Palm Springs, kind of.
Yes.
Palm Springs,
with
kind
feathers.
of. But if I wear a harness and a bottom, I'm okay with that too.
Anything goes. Anything goes. So yes, the good thing, like I said, about the theme is that it gives you freedom to do feathers or flowers or hats or scarves, whatever you feel like it's your Palm Royale. Bring it on. We'll take it.
Okay.
With your martini glass.
With your martini glass, right? I mean, and we're always talking about kids in need, and we don't ever mention a kid in need in another place that's not here. I mean, we've got plenty of issues with children here and LGBTQ plus youth here. But just the thought of an organization doing this for years now, you said it was since the 80s.
Yeah, 1988.
So for them starting out as just a social group to now wanting to help kids in rural areas, that's a beautiful gift to be able to give from Wilton Manors, because Richardson Park, that area is just gorgeous to have an event.
Totally. And most of these kids will have never gotten an opportunity to get educated if it wasn't because of this foundation providing the funds, the financial help for them to get educated. And the amazing news is that most of these kids have gone on to have amazing careers, and they have become CEOs. Many of them have worked in the White House. I mean, so when you look at the stories, which we invite people to go into the website and browse and look into it, you will realize the purpose, but also the togetherness and the joy that this foundation have been bringing to our community for the last 30 years.
Amazing. Gamma Moo!
Yes.
That's it. That's my new tagline. You like it? Mm-hmm. Gamma Moo! Well, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Gamma Mu Foundation Celebration East 2026 on Saturday, January 17th.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, my good friend, FayWhat. She is a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of Hotspots Happening Out, the FayWhat Show. Faye, Toast to Tony, Italian Brunch Birthday Bash for a Cause is on January 25th. Tell me what's happening out.
Of course, Vaughn. So let's celebrate Tony Lima's birthday with a fabulous Italian brunch benefiting SunServe's Florida AIDS Walk team on January 25th from 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Salvo's Osteria Romana. Guests will enjoy a delicious brunch with unlimited mimosas and Bloody Marys for $79 while supporting a great cause. The celebration features music by DJ Trevor Aldridge, performances by the fabulous Kelly Raspberry, and is hosted by me. Come eat, drink, dance, and give back. RSVP is required to reserve your spot. More details are at sunserve.org/salvo. I love my brother, Tony Lima. He's just the best. I mean, when even his own birthday, I'm like, okay, what are we doing? Let's throw a party. Let's have a brunch. Let's go see some drag queens. What do you want to do? I want to have a brunch at Salvo's. Okay, cool. No problem. RSVP. How many? For 100. What? What? What do you mean? He goes, I want to make it into a fundraiser. I want to serve my community and also help SunServe at the same time. And I'm like, you're so sweet and you're handsome too. My Lord, is there nothing that you can do wrong? And there isn't, okay? Like, this is just a perfect way to celebrate his birthday. He wants to give back, and he wants to celebrate with his closest friends and some people that he's never even met before that just want to support the great cause that is SunServe. You know, SunServe helps, I always say that SunServe helps from the womb to the tomb.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Because they help kids, they help
Right.
LGBTQ plus youth, but they also help LGBTQ plus seniors, right? And everyone in between. That is what they do. You know, we still live in an age where mental health is not considered important. And it really is. Without your mental health, nothing else matters.
Right.
Nothing else matters. And they want to make sure that an LGBTQ queer kid is taken care of and that an elder is also taken care of. And in doing so, you know, we all know all the cuts that have happened this year and how difficult it's been for nonprofits to keep the doors open. And so SunServe is figuring out other wells, other ways, just what we have to do to reinvent to make sure that our nonprofits don't go away. And that's what we will be doing on January 25th at Savos, is celebrating, drinking and eating and having delicious Italian brunch. So it's going to be a great time.
I think he's underestimating the quantity of people that will come, right? I mean, 100, Tony, we know you'll get more than that.
We're going there, but I'm like, I'm actually a little worried about right now not having enough space to host everybody there. So I have to check with him tomorrow to see we're still there on the reservation.
Well, I have yet to meet this great guy, Tony Lima. I hope I get to meet him at some
Come
point.
to the brunch. This will
I've
be a
known
good
him
chance
for years. I've known Tony since I think we
when
were
he was
in
chubby.
the 30s.
Back when he was chubby.
Right.
He's not even that right now. He is slim and trim and looking sexy
No,
as hell. I'm
this
just
is
saying.
going back to probably late 20s, early 30s, maybe around in the 30s.
1920s?
No.
I was going to say,
He's 30. He's 30. He's 30.
Well, I think what
He's
you were
turning
saying was
52,
the right thing is that with all the cuts and everything that's happening, the way that we fight back is through this.
Exactly.
I mean, what better way you want to be with your friends? You're going to probably go out and have drinks and brunch anyways with somebody.
Yep.
Why not turn it into some kind of fundraiser? So, I mean, like, hats off to people like him in our community that are finding these ways without really making it any more difficult from your bank account if you're going to spend that money anyways and hang out, you know?
And he knows everybody. He knows everybody. Tony knows so many people. So I can only imagine people are going to be coming to this. And
it's his
hopefully they do.
birthday.
It's his birthday.
You know?
And you're actually contributing to the SunServe mission. So
Yeah.
it's a win-win.
And listen, here's a little fun fact, right? Everybody at this table has met my wife, right? So my wife and Tony were both born at the same hospital on the same day.
Oh, wow.
Really?
wow.
That's
right.
Hours apart. Literally, they have the same birthday.
Who's older?
2 Cubans.
Two Cubans. Two
God.
Cubans. Who would have thought, right?
Exactly.
La cubanería.
La cubanería, for real.
Maybe you're just attracted to people. Maybe there is something about the whole star sign thing.
The Aquarius thing, maybe
I
there's
don't know.
something
I
about
didn't
that.
know this fun fact.
Isn't that fun? That is
it
fun.
is.
That.
Well, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Toast to Tony Italian Brunch Birthday Bash on January 25th.
Hello, I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Stonewall Museum names Molly Lenore to lead major campaign for new South Florida home. As 2026 begins with both hope and uncertainty, the Stonewall National Museum Archives and Library in Fort Lauderdale is starting the year from a position of strength. The organization has announced Molly Lenore as its new director of capital campaign and major donors, a role focused on building a new South Florida home to preserve and share millions of LGBTQ plus stories. Lenore brings decades of leadership, creativity, and activism to Stonewall. A board member of the LGBTQIA Sports Equality Foundation, she has long fought discrimination in sports and championed unity across the community. Her career includes work at New York's Museum of Natural History and more than 20 years leading her own firm, Moe Inc., designing award-winning immersive experiences. She's also deeply engaged in the trans community and has served on national boards, including Stage and the National Gay Flag Football League. Stonewall President and CEO Robert Keston celebrated this development, saying, quote, "We are excited to begin working with Molly and adding her to our team. Our national and local efforts will be greatly enhanced by her experience and determination to succeed. She understands the importance of Stonewall remaining here in South Florida, ground zero in the fight for equality. Florida needs her vibrant spirit and dedication," end quote. Lenore shared, quote, In a time where we are being written out of the history books, we will insist on telling the truth about our contributions and how our work has added tremendous value to the quality of people's lives, end quote. Stonewall's 4th annual Standing on the Shoulders of Heroes Gala is set for February 21st, 2026 in Wilton Manors. Oh, this is really great. Molly Lenore stepping in is not just staffing news, it's a new strategy, and I am here for it. While people are busy erasing LGBTQ plus history, Stonewall is busy expanding it. New building, new campaign, new energy. Florida wants to silence us? No. Okay. We're just going to get louder and richer and just build a bigger archive of everything that they're afraid of. That's what we're going to do here. You know, I love Robert Keston for all he does. He's got an incredible history, a rich history of community service, of even running for office, etc. But one person can't do it all.
No.
Yeah.
And like, I will call him sometimes, like, months back and ask for something. And I'm just like, and I know that he's putting it to a list of many things that probably will come beforehand. It's almost impossible for one person to do this all. So the addition of Lenore is wonderful. I love all of this. And this is just exciting news for us here in
Well,
South
her
Florida.
experience working with museums and immersive experiences will just elevate Stonewall Museum, which is what it needs.
And I tell you, working in the nonprofit as we do with the film festival, you have to find people like her with, new ideas to fundraise. It's not easy in this environment.
No.
And we live unfortunately, we live in a place where there is a lot of wealth too, and the gay community here has money, but it's not always easy to get them to support our causes. We all know about this. We put out good effort, but you have to have good ideas, fresh ideas, and it seems like she does. And I'm glad she's doing it for the Stonewall archives because they deserve it. We deserve it. We need to preserve our history and actually let the whole community know what they do, and we have to protect our history.
Have you been there? Have you been
I've
to
been
the Stonewall? It's
been,
incredible that it's right here in Fort Lauderdale. Like,
Right
I'm
here.
embarrassed to tell you that I didn't even know this place existed until like maybe 3 years ago. Okay, I had no idea that our history, we're being erased at every corner in every single book in every single school. And our history is right there in these archives, and it's beautiful. And they have thousands of pieces of history. And there was a moment there where I was thinking, because they have a space in Art Serve, right?
Right.
Off Sunrise Boulevard, and you can hardly see the sign from Sunrise, right? And I'm like, I pray for them often. Because it's like, I don't want to lose them. I hope we don't lose them to another city, to a Chicago, to a New York, or they get absorbed by a bigger company, because it's what happens to save organizations like Stonewall, but I'd love for them to stay right here in Fort Lauderdale. So maybe with this addition of Miss Lenore, that will be, she's here to get us a new building. So that's it. It'll stay here. That's wonderful.
I love history, and I love documentaries. I think you're a documentary
I am.
chick too. And what excites me the most about it was that 20 years at New York's Museum of Natural History, which, that's kind of a big deal.
That's huge.
In order to be in like one of the artistic centers in this country.
Yep.
And then also that she has all this experience with her company designing award-winning immersive experiences. I'm a huge immersive experience guy. I just went for the second time taking friends to Super Blue Miami. If you've never been there, incredible.
Yeah.
And if there's a way that she can take our history and put it into this immersive experience to where like you didn't really know, I didn't either, but if there's some kind of immersive experience that's created that she could sell some tickets to, or even just have a free night to, I would be there to see like holograms of like our leaders in the past and everything. Like, I think she could really bring it to life and actually bring in the non-LGBT folks into it and to understand. And that's where we really need support.
And you sell those tickets for $40. You're doing it in Wynwood all the time for Dolly, for whoever else. And it's just squiggly lines everywhere. And you're paying $45 to read and guide yourself through the experience, okay?
Right.
And if you buy something, it's $10. You know what I mean? Like, so, you're absolutely right. And people would go. And I bet you a ton of people would be like, wait, this was here? I had no idea.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We just gave everybody ideas. Robert Keston, I hope you're writing that down, sir.
I'm Von Biggs, and let's queer up health. New ADAP limits could strip HIV treatment from thousands of Floridians. Tonight, we bring you a breaking news that will directly affect tens of thousands of people living with HIV across Florida. Florida ADAP, the AIDS Drug Assistance Program, has announced abrupt and sweeping changes to eligibility, medication access, and funding that will fundamentally reshape HIV care across the state. These changes take effect March 1st, 2026, leaving consumers with just 2 months to find alternative coverage. Here is what you need to know. First, direct access to ADAP provided HIV medications will be limited to individuals at or below 130% of the federal poverty level, the sharp drop from the current eligibility limit of 400%. For 2026, that means just over $20,000 for a single person and roughly $27,000 for a household of 2. Anyone earning even $1 more over the cutoff will lose ADAP-provided HIV medication coverage, regardless of clinical need. Second, ADAP will continue covering medication copays for insured clients up to 400% for the federal poverty level, but ADAP-funded insurance premiums will be eliminated. Consumers who relied on that support will now face full costs of coverage, and many may lose insurance entirely, along with access to providers, lab work, and ongoing care. Third, ADAP is moving away from certain single-tablet antiretroviral regimens. Biktarvy will be removed from the formulary, and Descovy will be restricted to individuals with documented renal insufficiency, with the state signaling that further changes may be followed. Fourth, the ADAP rebate model will be eliminated, reducing funding for staffing and critical operations statewide. According to the National Alliance of State and Territorial AIDS Directors, Florida ADAP served over 32,000 clients in 2024. Roughly half of all clients earn between 138 and 400% of the federal poverty level and are now at immediate risk of treatment disruption. This is not a simple policy change. It is a life-altering disruption that threatens viral suppression, public health progress, and the stability of thousands of working Floridians who depend on uninterrupted HIV treatment. Look, first I need to say this. We all know I work for Holy Cross. This has no way, I can't speak on behalf of Holy Cross on this, as well as I am the vice chair for the HIV Planning Council, but I'm not authorized to speak on behalf of them either. So I speak as the advocate, the person that I have worked with HIV for 10 years, and speaking to that in the community that I have served, for many years living here in South Florida. It's heartbreaking. We learned of this starting Thursday. ACA insurance cuts off effective tomorrow. We fought for 3 months to get everybody enrolled in ACA insurance, and now they're going to be receiving letters in the mail saying that their insurance coverage, if they fall above 130%, will be discontinued for non-payment, which means you don't have a life-altering issue to find new insurance. It leaves them in the lurch, so to speak. It's disheartening. Majority of the people on Ryan White are using Biktarvy, and with that going away, they will go back to a generic 2-drug regimen. Now, I do know, and I've talked to a lot of experts, there's nothing wrong with the 2-drug regimen as far as its effectiveness, right, for treating HIV. But we do talk about, pill burden. We talk about things like that where people don't want to take multiple pills. Yeah. But unfortunately, if you're going to get assistance and funding that will cover it, that's the way we're going to have to go about it. There were meetings going on today that we still don't know what the result was, where they're talking to all the funders here in Broward County. We had people up at the state. There are some videos that you can see online from the state health meetings today talking about it, people complaining about this, that how can the state, who this program was 100% fully funded based on rebates alone, so they didn't have to put any money out to cover this, and now they're saying we're going to keep the $120 million plus, and we're not going to cover this. So there's still more news to come, a lot of news to come. Yeah. But I'm going to tell anybody out there, if you are on Ryan White and you take Biktarvy, please get to your doctor and get a 90-day prescription right away, because you need that, because we don't know how long this is going to last. And do everything you can to get those drugs taken care of. I always think that, we'll have to call in our federal health qualified facilities, our FQHCs, because that's kind of what they were put on the, in our country to do, to handle situations like this. But people, if they stop taking medications, we're looking at not maintain our viral suppression, and that could set us back to the 90s.
That's just scary. It's scary up and down, and there's no one more equipped to bring us this story than you. So first of all, thank you so much for what you do, because you bring it to us with thought, but with heart. You understand? And when you started reading all this, I was looking at Trini like too many numbers. Wait a minute. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how does someone that right now is living and thriving with HIV, and is used to getting their medication every month, you're telling them to get 3 months worth, right? What happens after those 3 months? Like, what should be their biggest? I'm freaked out, and I'm not on these meds. You know what I mean? So I'm freaked out for my friends. You know what I mean? And everybody is on those meds that you mentioned.
Right. I mean, we're talking, roughly, the way I saw the numbers, it says a little higher in the report, but I'm thinking it's around 9,000 clients, specifically in Ryan White, that this could have a major impact in. Especially if these clients who might have had the opportunity to have employee-sponsored health insurance plans and didn't take them, because ACA ends tomorrow, there's no recourse for them to go back and now enroll for those.
That deadline is over.
It's over.
They can't.
I can't believe we're going back to this.
To the 80s, we're to the 90s.
Right.
Where are we right now?
In the 90s, I worked with Care Resource. I worked with Community AIDS Research Initiative of South Florida, and then became Health Crisis Network became Care Resource.
Right.
We treated patients back when the, antiretrovirals were coming out. So they had to take these drugs independently, many of them, and many of them were intolerable. Norvir was one of those that we currently use in many combinations. Some of them are very hard to take. And then the number of pills that you have to take to now, because they're not combined into one pill, now you have to take them separately. This will impact compliancy, and then with that you develop resistance.
Right.
When you don't take your drug and you don't maintain the level of the therapeutic level in your blood, you will become resistant.
Right.
Yeah.
And then those drugs that are as good as they are will not be working in the future. You're going to have to find new drugs. The impact that this has is massive. I can't believe that we're going back to this in a country when the president of the country is trying to build a new ballroom in the White House for just parties, and then we are dealing with this in the state of Florida. It's beyond. It's cruel.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so inhumane. They couldn't stop with just USAID that they, cut supplies to the rest of the world. They had to do it to the people here.
Yeah. But we knew it was coming. We knew something like this was coming. It's just, it's still like you're still in disbelief, even with it happening,
And we're first. So Florida is first.
Yeah.
They're already saying this is going to happen in Indiana. This is going to happen in Texas. It's going to happen in Louisiana.
Yeah.
It's
a targeted event. I was just trying to crunch some numbers a little bit. So they said $20,000 for a single male, right?
Yeah, and 27 per household.
That is $384 a week.
Right.
So if you make $1 more than $384, now I remember doing some research on the ACA when they were cutting the subsidies for that. So I looked into what Medicaid was, and I believe that they cut Medicaid from single men. Like you had to have a family and have kids in the household. So if you are below this poverty, let's just say, you make less than $20,000 a year. All right, so maybe you get some ADAP, but now you don't qualify for Medicaid either, and you can't pay for health insurance.
No. Right. And so mind you, you're living on the street because you can't live with that.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like by cutting it down there, you're effectively saying we're just cutting it completely.
Right.
Because, so it's like a targeted anti-gay, if you are HIV, like they're trying, to kill you. They're trying to get rid of us.
But what's even
completely get rid of us.
And you make such a valid point. But what's even scarier with that, Trini, is that Black and brown women, most are straight, are the number one most exposed from HIV.
And the state
not gay.
Yeah.
And
okay,
and they're also
and the state of Florida is number
one.
And the state of Florida, Miami's number one.
Right. I think what you said that really stayed with me was the fact that we're going back to the 90s. And again, I'm not even old enough to live through it, but I have multiple friends who went through it, whose partners died in their arms. And for me, the mental, just let that sink in for a second, and just think about the suffering and the fact that we're potentially going back to that.
Yep.
And then the mental stress that these this pause on people living with HIV, like they don't have enough to deal with. They have to, from now on, deal on top of that with all of this. It just really breaks my heart to see this happening.
So and you deal with that, and then now add housing to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Add
food.
At that level of
SNAP is
income.
gone.
Yeah.
No, HIV transmission. I mean, poor women that get pregnant and transmit the HIV to their baby because they couldn't get treated.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about so many. It's not just gay people.
Right.
This is everybody.
This is everybody.
Like right
this
now.
is everybody that's not white.
That's not
Okay.
wealthy, right?
And mind you, I also want to make a point that everything that Dino is saying. Dino is a doctor in his country. So he's not just also talking out his ass.
Right.
You know what I mean? He knows what he's saying.
Yeah, no, and I treated so many patients, and many of them made it, but some of them didn't. They couldn't tolerate these drugs. The drugs were not working for them. They became, they couldn't. It couldn't work, and these were drugs that are so. It changed so much when they combined it. These cocktails were so difficult, and you had to have the money to have all these pills. They were like 20-some pills sometimes that people had to take. Yeah. You can't do, when now you take one pill that combines all this. It's just so, we were doing so well. We're going back so many years. It's so cruel and so inhumane. It's just,
I mean, maybe we can fight. I mean, we need to talk to our legislators about this. We need to vote. We need to write.
Right.
It's our Florida government that's doing this, that's starting it. If we can find a way to put a stop to this, maybe it'll help the other states from doing the same thing.
Right.
Make your voice heard.
Make your voice heard.
Yes.
I'm Dino Mosquera, and let's square up South Florida and Florida. Craig Jungwirth sentenced after years-long stalking case. Outside Florida's John Hayden, who has been leading coverage of this story for years, has an update in the latest chapter of the Craig Jungwirth saga. Jungwirth pleaded non-contest to aggravated stalking on January 9th. A judge sentenced him to 4 years of supervised mental health probation and barred him from contacting the victim through electronic means. The case dates back to February 2023 when Jungwirth began targeting local barber James Tersha. Using Tersha's online booking system, Jungwirth filled the calendar with fake appointments, costing the business thousands of dollars. He was arrested in the spring of 2024, skipped bail, and was rearrested in September, remaining in jail since. Jungwirth remains jailed due to a sealed case in Orange County, a civil case in Orange County. John Hayden has additionally reporting available on YouTube at the page Greater Wilton Manors. This is a story that has been going on for a while. John Hayden has done a great job about it.
Yes, he has.
He's covered on the South Florida pages, and this guy has created a lot of havoc in the community with his obsession. I don't know what it is. And I remember back in the day when we were having the Stonewall, and he was still not caught. Not caught.
Yeah.
He was on the loose, and they finally found him, but I guess they're following a civil case now, so he remains in jail. But it's a little unsettling to know that he's not gonna.
Well, and he wouldn't let up. Like, he would not stop bothering James. James is an incredible part of our community. He's a barber. He's part of many organizations. He's always volunteering at events and stuff like that. And he just had it out for him in such a way, right, where he would, like you said in the story, he would fill his whole book with appointments and sometimes use local people's names to make them, like FayWhat. Okay? I remember James calling me going, "Do you usually go to men for a haircut?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about, James? I have 3 appointments for you next week to get your haircut with me."
Wow.
And I'm like, sorry, so I mean, it was a long time coming. And as you can see, he's in jail right now because of another case. He's been arrested 5 or 6 different times. This is not like, Wilton Manors and our South Florida community targeting him. He's caused chaos wherever he goes, and I hope that they hold on to him. Too many times that one last time that you let somebody out before you should, and then they cause something more horrific.
That's what I'm supposed to be going after. These menace to society people, man.
But did you see his crazy ass eyes?
Yes.
I ain't going to him. I ain't asking him for put the picture back on the screen, Steve. I ain't asking him for papers. Okay, trust.
Yeah, and he was like, FayWhat, I bet you she needs a blowout.
Right? So it's interesting because James never met him. He's never met him to begin with, and it was all from James had commented on somebody's Facebook post that he didn't like, and that's where they figured out where it started from.
It is.
Yeah,
But you don't know what will trigger somebody who's not well in the mind. Mental health is important, folks.
right.
And again, this is how we make mistakes and let people get away with things, thinking, okay, you know what, time have passed, let's move on.
Yes.
And then while they're out there, then they commit crimes, and that's when we end up with shootings, and that's when we end up with like bigger tragedies that just targeting. So
that was the fear during Stonewall. That was the concern. So that was a big concern because they were looking for him. I think they found him eventually in Orlando, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That they were.
Yeah, and almost every time you see a news story of someone that did something horrific, they were arrested a couple times before and let go, and they were usually white.
That's true.
No drag queens there.
No,
Not a trans person either.
I'm not.
Okay?
I can't argue with her.
But
I can't argue. It's true.
It is true. It's like, we'll give it the benefit of the doubt.
Because he's white, you give him the benefit of the doubt. But if he was brown like you, they'd ask you for papers and send you back.
He wouldn't have gotten out the first time.
Right. Yep. Wouldn't gotten out the first time. Exactly right.
Well,
I'm Trinidaddy, and let's queer up the USA view. 6 federal prosecutors quit as DOJ targets widow of queer woman killed by ICE. 6 federal prosecutors in Minnesota have resigned after the U.S. Department of Justice demanded an investigation into Becca Good, the widow of a queer woman killed last week by an ICE agent. The DOJ is examining whether Good has criminal associations or ties to anti-government groups. The current administration has repeatedly labeled the victim Renee Good a, quote, domestic terrorist, tied to, quote, a sinister left-wing movement. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey has called that characterization, quote, bullshit. Among those who resigned is Joseph H. Thompson, the second in command at the U.S. Attorney's Office in Minnesota, along with 3 senior career prosecutors. None offered public explanations. The resignations come amid growing outrage over a video of the shooting, which shows ICE agent Jonathan Ross being barely brushed by Renee Good's car as she drove away. He then shot her 3 times, calling her a, quote, fucking bitch, and fled. DOJ civil rights head Harmeet Dilo has refused to investigate whether Ross violated federal law. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz said Thompson was, quote, a principled public servant. It's also the latest sign Trump is pushing nonpartisan career professionals out of the Justice Department, replacing them with his sycophants, end quote. The FBI has now taken full control of the case, excluding state investigators, a move critics say risks bias. And it's pretty unprecedented to take that away from the state authorities that are there to investigate. So obviously something more sinister is afoot. I was trying to do some investigation on how these people who have, I think it's 6 so far, have prosecutors resigned from the Minnesota Attorney General's office, and how they would get replaced. Because that's an important part. Obviously, these people are principled, which is why they want to resign. And it seems like it's such a convoluted process. I couldn't quite get an answer to how. I know the Department of Justice is involved in that. How much Pam Bondi and that federal level is involved versus the state level is kind of unclear at the moment. It seems like temporarily they just assign these cases to the other people and just increase everybody's workload until they figure this out. So I really hope that these attorneys that resign will, if it's legal for them to be able to discuss why they feel that it was unconstitutional or just immoral for what the Department of Justice is asking for them. So that's crazy that's happening. And also, when I was watching it first break, they, I think it was on Fox News, when they would describe Rebecca Good, they said, oh, this lesbian. And they kept using this word lesbian, and her wife with her pronouns got shot and killed, obviously to try to demonize her as being LGBTQ
100%.
and make, people who are conservative not care as much about that she was shot in the face and called a fucking bitch right after.
Right.
Yeah.
And we've all seen the video at this point. I think today it came out that the Department of Justice now is saying that he had internal injuries, internal bleeding as a result.
Internal bleeding.
You know, which
Wow.
for a department that is saying that Donald Trump won the 2020 election and that Haitians are eating your pets,
Cats, yeah.
you know, cats and dogs and ducks in your neighborhood lake. It's like, I mean, I think we've come to realize how much they would lie and how much they're willing to go to suppress this and to do unconstitutional things. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, Jonathan Ross is a disgusting piece of human shit. I said it. Okay. And, you know, it's sad that, like, yeah, that car didn't even touch him. And of course, he's got to be vulgar and call her a fucking bitch. Right. And I'm like, okay, what kind of professional person in law enforcement would say something like that? Right. That doesn't abide with, you know, with being a responsible, powerful protector of the community. But then we have a president who tells people to fuck off, you know, wherever he can. Today, somebody called him a pedo protector and he literally gave him the finger and told him to fuck off. Our president of the United States. Like, you know, I mean, so, you know, will this be checked out correctly? Could we trust in the people that are really gonna check this? I don't know, you know. Just the fact that the state is being excluded from the investigation doesn't mean that they're still not gonna put something together, right? Because they have asked the public to send in every single little piece of video that they have just so they can put together a case because they want to go after this Ross guy, and I hope they do.
I tell you, if this is following the same path of the George Floyd situation, and they have an explosive situation coming up if this is not resolved to the people's, you know, justice.
Yeah.
So
Minnesotans are pissed.
yeah,
They're pissed. You don't mess with those people from
That's
Minnesota.
right. And you know, I thought it was going to end with, you know, because I'm sorry, but because she was white. No, but she was a lesbian.
She's marginalized because she's
so
gay.
she's a lesbian. And then the wife, and now they're trying to go after the wife.
Yep.
Which is even worse. They inhumanity, that this poor woman just lost her partner, her everything, and now you're gonna go after her.
Yeah.
It's just that it's the cruelty of these people. It's like we are at war with our government. At every step, every week is something different. Every week we have a different battle against this administration.
Yeah, because they don't want to give us the Epstein files, okay? Here's something else to deal with right now.
Look over here.
Look over here, squirrel.
Yeah, that's true. And you know, now we're gonna go into Greenland. So you know, we're gonna go into Greenland because you know that's gonna prevent us from talking about the Epstein files. Next week, we'll move to another scandal. It's like weekly scandals and trying to distract, and people are not forgetting that those Epstein file has not been released.
Nope, they keep on asking for it.
So they're gonna keep asking for it.
I think the only silver lining, if you can even call it that, is that every week the government becomes more corrupt. But I do feel like that our government, our politicians in Congress are starting to wake up a little bit more and starting to push back on it. And, they introduced legislation to protect Greenland from the, and more people are feeling comfortable breaking, and the public at large is getting more and more agitated against the government. So
I mean, look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, who saw that coming? I didn't see that coming.
There's more that are happening, and they're about to resign from their seats before the midterms of many of the Republicans. So we're gonna flip the balance of power, hopefully very soon, and he's gonna try to make it illegal, but the pushback is happening.
I sure hope so. Because accountability is just so important. Okay, this guy Jonathan Ross, that there's a GoFundMe now with about $800,000 in there, and it's going to keep on growing. So that mother effer doesn't matter. He might not go to jail. He lost his job. He's going to be sitting pretty, better than anybody at this table.
Absolutely, it's insane.
And this is the world that we're in.
Yeah.
Mind you, $1 million was raised for Good's family and her kids and her wife, and they closed it down and started sending some of the money to domestic violence organizations and other organizations as well. That's what humans do.
Right. Yeah.
What was the name of that kid in that protest, barely legal age, that shot Rick Rittenhouse?
Yes.
And they raised a lot of money, and now,
Have you heard from him?
Have you ever
He's
heard
chilling.
Yeah, he's chilling with
Right, he's in Belize, chilling.
with a lot of money.
Chilling.
And yeah, because these people, and the fact that she's a lesbian, it doesn't stop people, is encourage people to give money to fight this.
Yep.
Is the pure homophobia, pure misogyny, pure, cruelty. It's just cruelty. The fact that we have a government that immediately can come out, Kristi Noem and Donald Trump immediately and call her a domestic terrorist without any proof, any chance for defense, anything. Before seeing anything. They came right after her.
Yep.
Right after her with no. I mean,
They hadn't seen anything.
I don't think anybody believes that, and the people who are just towing that line, they don't believe it either. They're just going along with it.
They just have to because they're kissing the ring.
Yeah.
Right? Well, we'll have a lot more with this story moving forward on Queer News Tonight for sure.
I'm Duni Bauta, and let's queer up the USA view. Ex-wife of Jeff Bezos, MacKenzie Scott, makes history. $45 million gift to Trevor Project. Philanthropist and author MacKenzie Scott have made a historic $45 million donation to the Trevor Project, the leading U.S. nonprofit focused on LGBTQ plus youth suicide prevention. The organization confirmed the gift, calling it the largest single donation in its 28 years of history. Scott's, the ex-wife of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, previously donated $6 million to the group during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Trevor Project CEO James Black said the team was thrilled by the contribution, describing it as a vital safety net at the moment of the crisis for queer young people. Black said the funds will use, quote, not only to meet the current moment for our organization and the LGBTQ plus youth we serve, but also to strengthen and sustain the Trevor Project for years to come, unquote. An estimate 1.8 million LGBTQ plus young people in the U.S. consider suicide this year, a crisis intensified after the Trump administration shut down the 988 LGBTQ plus suicide lifeline last year. The Trevor Project called the closure devastating and said that Scott's gift is a powerful step forward repairing the harm. Scott's total donations to nonprofits now exceeds $7.1 billion, with the net worth estimated at over $40 billion. I mean, this is, a little bit of light on all this mess that we're living, and definitely something that, number one, we appreciate, but at the same time, it's expected. MacKenzie has a history of being very generous to causes out there in the U.S. And I was lucky enough to be in Provincetown this summer for Carnival Week, which it was my first time during Carnival, and Faye was there. And the Trevor Project did an event, which is what they're doing right now in order to survive, because there's a lot of funding cut from these organizations, and we were talking about it before. And I got to talk to James Black for a little bit, and it was heartbreaking to learn that they have been cut $25 million just in 2025 from their funding. So we were talking about, I don't even know how we're going to survive. But again, let's think about all these young people. We're talking about 1.8 million LGBTQ plus young people in America who rely on these services to call. And again, this is very important. We're saving lives right here, and we're providing people with assistance for mental health. And the fact that these organizations keep on suffering by federal funding cuttings is just heartbreaking. But again, like I said, it's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, and see the generosity of people like MacKenzie Scott, and hopefully there will be this will become an inspiration for other people to come in and chip in and help with the Trevor Project, which is so important.
Oh yeah, $45 million.
Right.
I mean, the Trevor Project will be here for years to come. Right there with just that one gift that this person gave. To this person, that was just one gift. To the Trevor Project, that solidifies them for years to come. I mean, that's incredible. You know, the Trevor Project every single year gives us these stats that are just so important. Nobody else does these stats, okay? But the stats are staggering. They're scary. They're sad AF. You know, the fact that 9 out of 10 kids have even thought about ending their lives. LGBTQ plus kids. That's awful, you know, and the Trevor Project is there to help them with that, you know. The suicide hotline in the White House got cut, right? That was the one that was eliminated completely soon after Trump took office, right? So that's why this this suicide hotline from Trevor Project became even more important, you know, and now with these $45 million, that hotline ain't going nowhere. And that's wonderful. You know, and to those queer kids, I mean, I can't imagine being a queer kid right now, okay? When we were queer kids, people were hiding all their queerness, all right? People weren't on TV saying that they wanted us dead, okay? Now it's out and there, you know, so for these queer kids, they're able to see that I am something. Somebody's still fighting for me. Someone is out there worrying about my future. You know, that's what I get from this.
No, I think that's what, you know, rich people, and I'm not saying this just to, you know, put them down, but that they can do with their wealth. You know, she's putting this money to good use, you know, and when you see, and some of them have done it, you know, with women's health also, or the, you know, cuts, like the Gates Foundation, you know, the cuts in the USAID projects in Africa. You know how many people are dying in Africa because we just cannot provide basic, you know, genetic drugs, you know, that, you know, had cut the transmission rate of kids in Uganda, for example, to 0%. There was no transmission of HIV because of the U.S. and the money that we were providing for this. That was nothing. It's like peanuts compared to what we spend, you know, funding ICE right now, for example. You know, this is outrageous. We should be outraged, the whole country, that we are taking money away from this to fund some, you know, like the Gestapo that we have going on right now with the ICE, with ICE in this country. And, you know, that there are women like MacKenzie that can provide, you know, to mitigate this situation. Is phenomenal. And the people like the Gates and, you know, some others that are, you know, spending their money more than her ex-husband, just throwing a, you know, lavish, you know, wedding in Venice. More power to him.
50 million
I know, he has so much money and he's just, you know, flying to the space and whatever. Instead, you know, his ex-wife is putting the money with the work it's needed. So.
And also giving him the middle finger while doing it.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Trinity, anything more?
I wasn't sure that they were divorced when I saw the story. And I was like, well, you know, good on Jeff Bezos for all the bad things he was doing to this. But now I realize his ex-wife, I have no comment anymore.
No, he married Lauren, what's her last name? Latina woman.
She's a Latina. She's a real estate agent.
So, Lauren Sanchez this summer in Venice, this last summer.
They closed Venice down.
Fantastic wedding. I mean, again, good for you, dude. But, you know, put some money.
50-something million
dollars. I don't give a F about him.
Wow. Well, LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up entertainment. Brittany Snow teases a hotter, wilder Hunting Wives season 2. Brittany Snow is teasing a hotter, wilder return for the Hunting Wives. Speaking at the 2026 Golden Globes, Snow said season 2 tops the first season, and tops the first season's sapphic heat and cliffhanger shock. Talking to Entertainment Tonight, she said, quote, "They said that we couldn't top last year, and somehow I think we are doing it," end quote. Filming is underway for the second season, and I'm not going to watch the second season because I didn't watch the first season.
Ditto.
No, I'm not into hunting. I don't care if you're lesbians unless they're hunting naked, and then maybe I'll watch it. But like camouflage is not my thing. Like I just
somebody's stopping there. So the lesbians are doing it, and they are. It's very down low. I think they are in the down low.
They're on the down low, but they're on a reality show.
Well,
they're not doing the down low too well.
It's a reality show?
Is this?
I mean, it's a show. Sorry. It's a series.
But yeah, they're not out lesbians in this show.
Well, then you know who's watching it.
Yeah, I'm a lesbian.
No, the straight men are. The straight men are watching
Dino is
it.
watching it, and the straight men are watching
Right.
it.
Are they someone's wives? And I'm not familiar with the show. I'm trying to like. Are they like wives of like?
They have husbands, and they're
That are hunters.
they're hunters, right?
right.
So and
Get it? Nothing that we do here in South Florida.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. They had me at the pink cowboy boots. I was like, oh, maybe. And then I was
No.
like, no.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up entertainment. Drag Race winners AIDS documentary shortlisted for 2026 Oscar. The AIDS era documentary executive produced by RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 9 winner Angeria Paris Van Michaels, love her, has been shortlisted for the 2026 Oscars. Cashing Out, co-produced by Matt Bomer, explains viatical settlements during the HIV/AIDS crisis. The film is up for Best Documentary Short, reacting to the news. Angeria said she is proud to help spotlight a vital, often hidden chapter of LGBTQ plus history. Cashing Out is available to watch on YouTube. You know, I actually went on today and looked at it because I thought, I think I knew what it was about. And then I found it was very easy to find.
Okay.
So, but it does. It talks about that history of when, in the AIDS crisis, when people were dying and cashing out your health insurance or your life insurance policy. So,
But you see, Drag Race is taking over the world.
Love
Even
it.
An Oscar, they're going to win.
Love
next.
it.
I mean, come on.
come on, right.
I think it's such an interesting story. It's just something I never really thought about. You know, I don't think I've ever seen it on television like that from that perspective. And I love Angeria Parrott, like, you know, you ugly bitch, you know, like she's such a lovable, like, you know, lovable queen. And I don't love many of them.
Right.
So I'm definitely going to watch it. I think it's wonderful. And I think
And Matt Bomer, what a
Yeah.
great, like,
Anything he's involved with,
right?
I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
anything.
You're so
Do
predictable.
your duty in his,
Now we know.
in his
Now we
gorgeous
know.
accent. Anything he's a part of, I watch it.
And it's
Hell
just,
yeah.
it brings me back to those years that I was saying before in the late 90s, the early 2000s, where a lot of people were coming down to Florida. They have life insurance and they were selling it.
Right.
And it was a real, I'm glad that she found this because nobody had talked about this.
No.
So
No.
it's and there's real tragedy behind this. People were dying and people were not, like we were talking about, people were not benefiting from the drugs. They were dying. So, and they were selling their life insurance.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's good that Angeria, who I love too, is doing this, and good for her. You know, there is more beyond, you know, Drag Race, and she's doing great. LGBT 1 Minute News. Let's queer up gay culture. The Boyfriend Season 2 premieres at LGBTQ plus rights stall in Japan. Netflix The Boyfriend Season 2 premiered yesterday, but it's a tougher moment for queer rights in Japan. The groundbreaking queer dating show returns as the country remains the only G7 nation without marriage equality. Executive producer Dai Ota told Tudum, quote, being the first same-sex romance reality show in Japan, we pay careful attention to ensure that the story was an authentic portrayal of these relationships. End quote. After years of momentum, a 2025 court ruling upheld Japan's marriage ban, making the season's love stories feel even more radical. One thing is for sure, even without legal recognition for same-sex couples, the audience's love for queer reality TV remains very much intact. You know, in the film festival, once in a while we get queer films from Japan, and you know they're very urban shows or films. But I went to Japan in 2019 before the pandemic to Tokyo, and the weekend I went on a cruise, and the cruise ended in Tokyo. And that weekend, surprisingly for me, I wasn't expecting it, was the first gay pride in Tokyo. Tokyo is a massive city, the largest city in the world. And to know that it took to 2019 to to have the first gay pride. It was I was so shocked, and people were so excited. You should have seen the people on the parade. People were so thrilled to have this. But Japan is very conservative and is going back. They just elected a woman, which is good, but the woman is very conservative. So very traditional values and even divorce. I mean, it's just so many things. So gay rights are, on the very last of that list. So to have this show is a good step forward. I hope it brings out, more visibility to the LGBT community in Japan.
I just hope that it infiltrates over to China, which has had an effective ban of gay relationships on television since about 2015, 2016, naming them unnatural relationships and not being able to give access to those stories to the people of that country. So my only hope is that it spreads in that region of the world so that we have more acceptance there.
But you see, but at least, now Taiwan, which is not, it's part of China, but it's not part of China. Taiwan was the first one to have recognition of same-sex marriage in Asia. So there is hope. And I hope that, Thailand and Japan and all these countries, particularly Japan with such a high level of life, I mean, in the society, that they give rights to, marginalized communities. So
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up gay culture. Hotspots magazine shares the must-read queer books to get you through winter. Our Hotspots Happening Out LGBTQ lifestyle magazine, Hotspots, is back with features on this season's most compelling queer books, perfect for winter reading. From poetry and memoir to graphic novels and experimental nonfiction, this curated list includes Alejandro Varela's Middle Spoon, Nicholas Boggs' Baldwin, A Love Story, and many joyful, fierce, and deeply personal works that remind us queer stories are as varied as we are. This feature story and many more are included in your free copy of the upcoming issue of Hotspots magazine on stands this Thursday, January 15th. There is something to the winter season. I was just looking in the mirror the other day, and it was a little bit cold, and I was thinking, damn, I have no one. So I think that no one to cuddle,
Let me get a book.
I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should find a book or a magazine or something and then warm my heart in that way. So go pick up a copy on stands now.
You strike me as someone that would read. Do you read? Do you like books?
I
no joke. I'm serious.
Read a lot of
Dino.
I read a lot of academic journals and politics and stuff, but I don't really like.
Do you like
like novels and fiction and stuff?
Nothing like that.
Not really.
How about porn magazines?
Did you just say porn magazine?
Do porn
And now
magazines
that
still
is
exist?
LBGQ 1 Minute News. Anybody else have a favorite book or anything for winter?
I
No,
just need
I'm-
to get mine written.
I'm
that's
stuck.
all.
I'm stuck on the experimental nonfiction. That's
Yeah.
what I want, like, right
Okay.
there. And it has to be in a book, not downloaded to the iPad. It has to be the actual book.
Oh, you read?
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up trans rights. Elon Musk seeks his son full custody after mother expressed support for trans community. Elon Musk says he will be seeking full custody of his son after his child mother, conservative commentator Ashley Sinclair, publicly expressed support for the trans community. In a Twitter post, Musk wrote, quote, "I will be filing for full custody today, given her statements implying she might transition a 1-year-old boy," unquote. Sinclair recently apologized for past anti-trans remarks, saying she feels immensely guilty. The dispute adds to Musk's history of public custody battles, including an ongoing case with musician Grimes over their 3 children. I mean, this is something that, of course, is sad to read and learn about, but it's expected. This is his behavior. This is something that he has been doing for a while right now, and we all learned a few years back when he was, involved with Trump and all that about his child, which, he did what a parent should never do to a child, which is denying their existence. So he denied his daughter existence just because
His trans daughter.
his trans daughter, and that was so sad. And his daughter have been public about it, and we learn about that. And then again, another legal battle the sad part of all of this, and this is what I'm thinking about, is that he's the richest man in the world right now, and he have the financial resources of going after this legal battle and potentially winning and taking custody of his child. And again, if justice is served, that won't happen. But how sad that this is happening in our world today. And, wealthy people, especially him with his behavior, is getting away with this. And, with this ongoing humiliation to his previous partners. And there's no ending to this. This is just one more to the pile of accusations and things that he have been putting into his ex-partners, and putting more strength into the relationship with him and his children, which, by the way, I think there are 15 or 17 of them.
14.
14.
14. And that right there, he has 14 kids. Okay, there are so many people in our community that have to work so hard to have one child, that have to go and pay so much money and do this and do that, and they do anything to be a parent. And this mother effer is a parent of 14 children. Not one of them has he fathered. Okay, I think he spent more time with the kid that was on his shoulders than any other kid. Okay, his trans daughter moved away and wants nothing to do with him, and now Ashley Sinclair, right, like you were saying, she was regretful about what had been stated in the past towards the trans community, right? She got away from him, educated herself, then felt remorse, and is now apologizing to the trans community for words that were said by her. That's it. She's not saying that she's gonna, transition her child or anything crazy like that. And now he's filing for custody of the child.
I think there's clearly drug addiction issues with him, and it's just so interesting to see like the difference in race. If he was a black man who had 14 children by 3, 4, however many women, and was pretty much concluded that he has some substance abuse issues, they would be taking his children away. And the fact that he, because he's as rich as he is, can actually try to take his own children away from the mother who is probably doing a much better job at raising them for himself, it just shows you, where we are today.
Is she the one that is suing him, or just not just because of this, but also because he is using her pictures to create sexualized pictures of women with AI, the Grok?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it just came out yesterday. I was just watching it on TV, and she actually, it looks a lot like her. So, but again, he has so many, the mother, I don't know how many mothers. But,
Sorry, like, wow, no, he had like, he's got like 10 baby mamas. I mean, it's...
baby mama. So, but I think it's her that just, warn him not to use her pictures anymore to create, pornographic pictures of women created by AI, Grog. AI.
As a nonprofit LGBTQ media organization, we would like to thank our viewers for supporting our mission to tell the stories of the queer community. We'd also like to thank the generous support of Jets Pizza. Jets is the LGBTQ community's most popular pizza in South Florida.
Take a look around these streets. Do you really think we woke up one day and said, yeah, the world needs more pizza? Nah, just a better one. Better, like the world's best pizza, Jet's Detroit-style pizza. Hand-pressed and baked to the thickest, crispiest crunch. You're welcome. Now visit jetspizza.com and save. Click on hot deals for special offers in your area. Jets, better because it has to be.
These are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight, and our anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ plus community.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Don't forget to join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells this type of LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your lead anchor, FayWhat, and I thank you for joining us on behalf of my fellow LGBTQ plus anchors here at Queer News Tonight, including Von Biggs, Dino Mosquera, Trinidaddy, and Duni Bauta. He got through his first time. Yay, Duni! We'll see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ plus world, we wish you a good night.
Good night.